day, ain't it, people? It's a great opportunity to learn about design thinking, right? Let's start. Before I even start, I'd like to thank Justin Farrell, Stanford Design School. I would also like to thank Interaction Design Org. All right, as you can see here. And if you want further more information, please enter them. If you want to learn about design thinking extensively, go to Interaction Design Org. And finally, thank you to my dad, because he introduced the concept to me. Now I hope you understand the basics or even extensively design thinking in this video. Let's get started. I'm sure every one of you knew that, well, if you eat on your left side of the cheekbone, you'll get, well, more analytical thinking. On your right brain, you get more creativity. Well, design thinking is an approach to problem solving that allows us to combine right brain creativity thinking and left brain analytical thinking. Ability to take on problems that don't have solutions yet and come up with innovative ideas. That's good. And design thinking is not for every challenge in the world. So don't think, oh, design thinking is for helping animals. Oh, okay. Forget that I said that. But it's more for human-centric problems, right? Yeah, remember that. It's very important. This is an example of design thinking. Now you're just wondering, why do you just keep a tap there? Why? And your million questions are running through your head. Again, don't worry. I'll answer all of them. So if you watch closely, you will see that there are instructions on this, right? And if the builders even kept empathy into this, well, even before it started, the lady who gave this example was just traveling around the place, and she just wanted a shower. So if these people even kept empathy into this tap here, they would have known that this tap was too hard to open, right? And even further assistance, call Service Express by dialing 0. Okay, now that is just weird, right? They're giving instructions already, and then they're already giving call Service Express. But she didn't want to call 0 because she was an engineer, and she wanted to learn it herself. But if they would even keep empathy, they would know that this would be too hard to open it. She also opened something which wasn't meant to come, and she kept it back. And you must know Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk, any product that needs a manual is broken. Really, this one's broken. What is this? I'm sure you know Blockbuster. I'm sure you know the history of Blockbuster, right? The history is that, well, Blockbuster is a renting place. For 24 hours you get rented movies, right? And if you get a few days late, it's a hefty fine. This happened to one such customer, which coincidentally happens to be the creator of Netflix. I didn't know that till now. So what happened was he had to pay a hefty fine for bringing it a few days late. And he, well, sort of, that's more than the DVD. Let's say the DVD was more than $100, all right? Then the hefty fine would be more than $100, or how much a CD is. So that's why. That's not good. That's why Netflix was created. It had its own business, like Blockbuster, if you didn't know. And after, everyone started laughing as if they could stream anything. It was not going really well on Netflix. But then they said they looked at what other people wanted. They literally created binge watching. And what they used empathy, and they saw that everyone doesn't want to buy, oh, okay, there's another episode in one day. An episode's coming tomorrow. New episode coming tomorrow. They release it all at once. So, example, The Simpsons. This is a bit... The Simpsons is an example, but because it's 25 seasons, it used to be on Netflix. 25 seasons, all of it. So Netflix used empathy, right? And they wanted to keep all the streaming, everything at one time, not episode every day or season every week, right? So that's why Blockbuster went out of business, because it couldn't keep up with Netflix. I'd like you to admire these two companies after we go. Oh, and the examples just keep coming. As you can see, we have how companies are adapting to design thinking. And again, why are you having a billion questions going through your brain saying, why are there toilet paper here? Well, okay. The same lady used to work at a place where, well, they had to do personal care products. All right, manufacture of consumer goods. In the product survey, they were getting paid, but they were asked to go to other people's houses, right? And they would survey how many times do you fold it or do you scrunch it? How many folds do you do? How many rolls do you use? How does it feel? All those questions they're supposed to be asked. Oh, and in return, they also get toilet paper, which would be very useful at this time of year, but that's not the point. So they were thinking about empathy in design thinking. Empathy is the first step in design thinking. I'm giving you a head start. But yeah, imagine companies like Bugatti, Apple, Samsung. Imagine companies like Ferrari, Rimac, Apollo, all these companies are using empathy to help customers buy their product, because they're trying to find ways. Okay, I'm not going to go into sales much, but you understand. Oh, well, there's your answer. You should scrunch it. Innovation is not an event, guys. It's a whole process. So before I even go anywhere there, we have the following steps. It's not a light bulb. Innovation is not a light bulb, right? It's like a sort of a process like empathize, define, ideate. Empathize like what the customer wants. Define, ideate, prototype, and test. We'll be going through all of these steps, right, in this video. And innovation is not an event. It's a design process, and it's a human-centered one. Design thinking methods iterate in a continuous feedback loop to foster innovation. Okay, the curtains arrived. We are going to empathy now. The first step of design thinking. Well, the curtains just keep coming. Now we have empathy. I'm pretty sure all of you know Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft now, right? He, in his interview, was asked a question a few years ago not the years, but let's not forget I said that. But he was asked a question in an interview for his job in Microsoft. It was about empathy. If there was a baby near a crossroad, and the employer was asking, who was crying, and she was on the floor, what would you do? He gave a really good thought into it. He thought it was sales and anything related, but he couldn't really think. So he just went to the phone booth. He was going to the phone booth and said, well, I would call 911. He got escorted out of the room. He got the job, but the employer said, you have no empathy. The answer to that question was, if the baby was crying and it was on a crossroad, you would pick it up and you would comfort her. You wouldn't stop making her cry, and you would just literally comfort her and then call 911, right? That's what you would do. How many of you, in your course of your work, if somebody gives you a problem, you're like, I gotta fix this and just go to the solution. You're not gonna use design thinking. Like, you just get a project work and you're just gonna nope, I'm gonna skip define, ideate, and prototype. I'm just gonna go, but not even empathize, just go test. You just create and go test. That's not good, because that doesn't lead to anything. Problem solving would be driven by core benefits: empathy, invention, and iteration. I'll read this out. Start by establishing a deep understanding of human needs. Discover new possibilities. And iteration, use the first solutions only as stepping stones to better one. And the last one is like a build better, no? Build better. Oh, we have a cute baby and a small dog here. I know that you guys like cute stuff. Anyways, what is empathy? Empathy what? When you feel what the other person is feeling, like the dog is feeling like the baby, right? And they both are just sleeping on the cuddly bed. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. When you can mirror their expression. So the dog is mirroring the baby's expression, right? In this case, that's like what they both are feeling at the same time. When you mirror their expression, their opinions, their hopes, everything is happening at one time. I don't know why. Empathy means to be able to keep yourself in other people's shoes. So you can help them, as like what Satya Nadella said that time. Keep yourself in other people's shoes, and you can actually just listen to them. You know, empathy is not sympathy. Remember that. Okay, it's not sympathy. It's different, but okay, I'm not gonna confuse you guys, but empathy is not sympathy. Empathy allows us to project ourselves forward into the experiences of others in order to gain insight and enable to interpret what others say and do. So this is an example of it. Take a good look at this picture and just tell me later, okay? Empathize how? Designers approach empathy without judgment, with beginner's eyes. So, beginner's eyes. Okay, it was just a joke if you guys liked it. With curiosity, optimistically, respectfully, and now ask 5 whys. Okay. Here's an example of it. What do you keep in your wallet? I keep cash, not credit. Why don't you keep credit? Because my parents thought they were evil. Why do your parents think they were evil? Now, after 5 times, someone goes sobbing and says, oh, because my parents didn't love me the way I wanted them to. Okay, we're not going to go into that, are we? But asking 5 whys, you're acting like a child. But that's the way of empathizing what you want. That's what Netflix, that's what Bugatti, you understand, the big major companies or even the small ones are doing. Now we're open to define. So this is the second step in all design thinking process. We made it this far, we can make it even further now. The curtain's opened. Oh wow, the examples just keep on coming. Define, you focus what you do with the information you got from the first process, right? So empathize, what do you do with it, right? That's define. What does this girl need, huh? Come on, what are the needs of this girl? Okay, before we even go any further, when you're doing needs, never use nouns. Never, ever. Always use verbs. As you can see here, needs as verbs and not nouns, right? It needs, if you catch it as verb, they are more generative. She needs to reach. To reach is a verb, right? To focus on the needs and hold onto the solution, the needs will generate the solution, right? So she needs to reach with a bionic arm, for example, if she wants to get to the highest book. See, you would need needs a lot. Like, you can have noun examples, but that's not defined. Insights. This is another part of define. Now, as you can see, why do we have this knife here? Okay, it's not a knife. It looks like a knife, but it actually is a peeler. I'm pretty sure you know the story of OXO. Right? OXO is this company which created the original peeler. Not the metal ones, the bushy one. Did you ever wonder what was the story? Now, a lady. She was suffering from arthritis. She couldn't hold the peeler. Her husband owned a big company, also known as OXO. OXO, as you know, creates kitchen utensils. Okay? And he noticed that his wife is struggling with the peeler because they had a peeler from the 1920s, which doesn't have the bushy thing that we have here, right? If you can't see. But so what happened was he asked his company to create a big bushy peeler, and turns out anyone would actually prefer a big bushy pillar without, well, arthritis or not? Because, well, come on, they're so hard to to hold. But the point in this is that he looked deeply into his wife's insights, and that became amplified. His company used empathy. He looked into the insights and just created and became so amplified, right? So, right. Define point of view, view statement and problem statement right here, okay? During the design phase, you define the problem statement. This is the structure. We have user, we have needs, we have insights, okay? So user, focus on the individual. Needs, verb rather than nouns. Insights, apply your expertise and make inferences. User here, who is the user? Let's say the owner of OXO's wife name is Emma. Emma is the user. Needs, what does she need? She needs a big bushy peeler. Insights, she's having arthritis and she needs a big bushy peeler so she can peel stuff, right? That's her insights, basically. So this is the structure of define and empathize. So quick recap. Define is using verbs, not nouns, right? And this is the structure that you need to do. I'm going to give you a few seconds to copy this down if you want to. That's enough time. Next. Okay, we have ideate. This is actually one of my favorite parts of design thinking because I love brainstorming all the time. Okay, the curtains have opened. Okay, now I'm pretty sure you know the story of the truck getting stuck under the highway. Now, you see this clearance, if you're paying attention on this one picture, you'll see clearance is 12 feet. Well, the driver thought it was safe for a 12.5-inch truck to go under a clearance 12 feet. Turns out there's a lot of traffic that day. Fire engines, police, ambulances even had to come. And they were brainstorming ideas. Should we chip the highway down so it can go, or should we cut the truck? And just a boy was crossing by and he was like, he looked at the road. He looked at the tires, okay? He saw that the tires were really big. So he told them, it was his idea. He said that, well, why don't you deflate the tires? You could maybe, the truck might go, right? That's called brainstorming. He thought out of the box. That's thinking out of the box. That's what everyone needs, right? So, truck safely went. Now we have a kid, and it's another out of the box thinking example. Oh, how did he get stuck in there? That's question I won't know forever. But as you can see, this kid got stuck in a gate. He is trying to find a way to get out. This adult pushing his head, which is very... Just look for yourself, please. I can't explain it. It's too sad for me to explain. This child shows us why it's important to challenge our assumptions and find new ways to solve our problems. Oh God, he's literally pushing it. He's starting to cry a bit, but like, he's literally pushing it. But if you know this kid found a way. He just gave up. But do you think this was meant to happen? He wanted to get stuck and then show his dad, I'm smart? No. He got stuck by accident. But again, this is from interaction.org. Brainstorm how? You are brainstorming around your problem statement and come up with ideas to meet needs and problem statement. You want to defer judgment, go for volume. One conversation at a time. Be visual. Mind mapping. More information, go to my mind mapping video. Build on the ideas of others. Stay on topic. Don't go drifting around the world and just thinking, oh, we can do this, oh, we can do that, oh, we can do... Just stay on one topic, okay? The bees have led us to prototype and testing. I am testing my mic now. It's in good condition. Now, prototype and testing. On we go. prototypes are, well, what you need. So example, Rimac. Until now, there was a car called the Rimac Concept 2, now known as the Rimac Nevera. Now, the Rimac Concept 2 is a $2.8 million car, but we're not going to go into costs. Why I'm taking this example is concepts are prototypes. It used to be a concept car. It was really hard to drive. But the Rimac itself empathized, it defined, it brainstormed ideas. Now it's not a prototype car anymore. It's an actual car. But they actually went to failure. They've revisited phases like empathy. They've also made paper prototypes in the early prototypes. They've made many of these. Wireframes? Well, they've also made that. Testing. They test ideas, will that actually happen, and gain users' feedback. You can actually drive a Rimac Concept 2 in the real world for free in the concept time. Test create new ideas for the project. Test reveal that redefine the problem. So these are all prototypes and testing. Testing. Fail early and test often. Now, as you can see, cost of an error. So if you fail in the prototype, it's not as much as money as you can see here. On the y-axis, it's cost of an error. On the x-axis, it's project timeline. Here, as you can see, a prototype fail early and learn here. So if you learn there, it doesn't take much money, right? It's like barely any money. And if you fail here, on the y-axis here, it's going to cost you a bit more money. But if you fail at launch, oh boy, that will cost you a lot of money. So when you're launching, there's a high risk. So as you can see the y-axis here, sorry. As you can see that the x-axis here, so it's number of build and test cycles. So here we have that when you launch, it's a very high risk, but if you test often, you'll go down to the most level that you want to go down for. And it'll be really good because your product will always... Okay, enough of salesperson. I'm not a salesperson anyways. But your product will not fail. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, in summary, design thinking is basically a useful innovation it's a steps to create innovation. It starts with customer empathy and a vision derived from that empathy. So the customer's feedback they try to create. By developing detailed customer knowledge, we understand that why motivates in a particular customer, and this gets us great heart anticipating their needs. Starting with why leads to discovery of the what. So I know it's been a long time in this video, right? I know that you guys all want a break because it's so long. So I've kept something which is related to design thinking, but it's hilarious. Please play. Just look at the example. Apply design thinking, don't let your customers suffer. That is so funny. Thank you guys. I hope you liked the video.